Hello, everyone. I'm Gwen Polakowski, and I'm happy to be back with you today for this short video about an upcoming event in Vancouver called Finding Your Voice. Now, this event is provided from SQUIST. SQUIST is the Society for Canadian Women in Science and Technology, and it is a fantastic organization to belong to. So, one of these women is Dawn Park. Welcome, Dawn.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm so blessed to be here. Thanks for
Oh,
having me.
thank you. Thanks for saying that. Well, we're really pleased to have you as well. Um, so Dawn is working in a tech position, and maybe I'll ask her to tell us a little bit about it just in a moment. But we want to talk about the issue of voice, right? One of the things that often happens to women for all kinds of reasons is losing our voices.
Mhm.
And one of our big goals is getting our voices back. And we lose our voice for all kinds of reasons, but it often happens during or as a result of immigrating to another country. It often happens in the tech industry where often women are a minority. So let's talk about that. Dawn, first of all, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have a background in kinesiology, but I recently switched over to work in an engineering firm. And then more recently, I switched over to work in a tech industry, or I work for Lululemon as a tech support specialist. So it's been really cool to be switching over into an industry that usually isn't female forward, but being at Lululemon has been super empowering because I've all the right leaders and all the right connections to push me in the right direction and really challenge me towards doing tech and working in tech and growing with tech, which is awesome.
Well, it sounds really great to hear about the female forward values that you're experiencing in that organization. So super happy to hear about that. Dawn, you know lots of other people, and you've been in a situation of immigration yourself. How do immigrant women who are in STEM kind of lose their voices? I guess it's not only immigrant women in STEM, but how do professional women um, who immigrate to Canada lose their voices after immigrating?
That's a great question. Being a Korean Canadian, I found that like the color of my skin often affected first impressions. So I think that's the beginning of losing our voice. And often I found that because of the color of my skin, people interpret my work differently. And if my name wasn't so westernized, I think it would have been far more difficult to find the opportunities that were presented to me. For example, through um, email like exchanges, it's really easy for people to assume that I am actually not Korean or not Asian just because of my name. And once we do meet, it's not like anyone's surprised or anything, but I know that there is a little bit of a difference um, in the way that I'm treated, I think. And then having different colored skin has also created barriers in trust, mostly with people in like higher level positions, I think. Um, I often found that in the workplace, people will assume that I will take like whatever is thrown at me just because within the Asian culture, we are taught to like keep our heads down and work really hard. And I think this is something that like from personal experience, this is something that other older Koreans have also suggested to me, just because they too have been muted. Um, I can imagine that this would have been far more difficult with like an added language barrier, which I thankfully have not had to have um, or had to grow out of. Um, so for so long, like I grew up seeing someone in my family work so hard to accomplish so much as an immigrant and honestly reach a level of success that is super inspiring. But I know they would have excelled even more in Canada had he not been an immigrant or had a language barrier. And saying that out loud, that's like extremely tough to recognize and reflect on. But circling back, I know that being an immigrant woman and working in a field where there are a majority of men makes it even more difficult.
You used a word that I want to follow up on because I think it is a word that really describes what happens when we lose our voices. And that word is muted. I want to ask you what that has felt like.
I feel like it happens so often that we almost don't recognize it as being muted. So for me, when I felt like I was being muted, I felt super ostracized and not like I could be supported in the way that I needed to be able to grow and develop into being who I am today. And like it feels super lonely to be muted, especially during work, because you're spending more than half of your week, you're spending almost all of your life at work. So it's extremely hard to feel muted and go through that pain of feeling super alone and ostracized, for sure.
How does losing our voices and feeling muted, how does that impact women in their tech careers or STEM careers?
From my personal experience, I've questioned whether or not I'm being seen as successful or producing good work because I am Korean. I think often it feels like there's like a ceiling to the growth that we can achieve just because of the color of our skin or even just being a woman. I think it often, yeah, and once we get to that point, like there's no more room for growth. However, with the right leadership and the right direction and the right mentors, you should feel elevated in where you're working and challenged with the work that you do. I think it's really easy to fall into this idea that we're going to reach a point and be stuck. But there are other ways to grow and get support with SWIST in growing and developing your skills to the place that you want to get to. Sorry.
We all want to be successful, right? We all want to work and function at our highest potential. We all want that. And so it is scary to sort of look at ourselves and understand, wow, I'm muting myself, or I'm feeling like I'm holding myself back. But being with others who have the same experience and seeing your experience reinforced can really help a lot. So through SQUIST and through events like the one that we're having on December 15th, Finding Your Voice, where I'll be kind of facilitating a lot of these conversations, I think we have a great opportunity to not be alone with finding your voice and to have opportunities to speak out loud about what it feels like. So my final question for you is, what does it feel like for you, or what has it felt like for you to emerge from a place of feeling muted to a place of feeling like you can speak your authentic mind? How's that feel?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's such a great question because it's been something I've been thinking about a lot recently, but it's so empowering. I feel so much better. My mental health is extremely, like, I've never been so high about like thinking about my growth and excited to be growing in an industry that that is kind of foreign to me, honestly. It's exciting, it's empowering. I just want to be able to share my experience, and hopefully other people can see my growth and experience their own as well. It's awesome.
All right, thank you. Well, will you be able to join us at the event on the 15th?
I think so. Yeah, that's the goal.
Wonderful. Okay, so for everyone watching, you'll get a chance to connect with and hear from Dawn potentially in our event on December 15th. So we look forward to seeing everyone there. We'll put the specific how to register for this event up on our screen for you. Dawn, thank you for taking time to talk with us today in English, and we're going to do this all over again in Korean, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. Thanks, Gwen, for having me. This was awesome.
Okay, thanks. And looking forward to seeing everyone at the December 15th Zoom event from the Society for Canadian Women in Science and Technology. Okay, see you there.
See you there.